Hello friend, welcome to my gardening channel Growing Container. So if you have a succulent plant and you want to multiply more plants from them, then this video is for you. So let's start. So there are different methods of succulent propagation. You can propagate it from a stem cutting, you can propagate it from a leaf, and also you can propagate from a seed. Even though you can propagate it from the flowers that it produce, because that flower produce some leaves, and from those leaves you can produce new plants as well. Even though you can propagate your succulent from a single branch as well. So today I'm going to share you how you can do that. For example, this is the plant. These plants are looking like this one from near about a month ago. So I cut all these plants, and from this plant I propagate these plants. You can see all those plants are the cuttings of these plants. So I cut the heads, you can see, of the plant. They about leave it for 24 hours so it callus out, and then put that in a peat moss, and now they all are start to grow. If you see the growing point, they are all healthy and start to grow. Even this plant is from there. You can see those two plants, those two small plants are there, small stems are there, and if you look closely you can see it start to produce new babies from those stems. So from this stem I cut this plant, this one, and from the other stem I cut another plant which is there, this one. So here is the plant. So if you look closely, this plant have rooting system like this one. Here is the roots of this plant. You can see these are the roots. So it propagates very well. If I move it from here, let me show you how well it grow. Here you can see how well it grow in the peat moss. So this is the cutting of this plant, this small branch, and now you can see how beautiful roots are growing. They grow so fast. So all those roots growth are in peat moss. So peat moss is very good for your plant. So all those plants have now set up and have good rooting system. So this is the first method, that you can chop off the head and place the cutting for near about 1 day in a shady place, and then plant it in a peat moss and leave it in a, for example, in direct sunlight for a week, and then move it to a sunny location. These are in the sunny location. So what happened then? This plant produce new babies on this stem. You can see this one is the new baby, and this one is also popping out, and here is the new baby, and this is also a new baby that is coming out. Also there are some babies that are now growing fast from the bottom of the plant, because all energy that was going on the head of the plant now spread all over these babies, and they look beautiful. If you look closely, they look beautiful. You can see how fast they are growing. So same method I apply to all of them, and all of them have now small pups. So this is the method that you can propagate from a cutting or a head of the plant. Now second method is from a leaf. From a leaf you can propagate the plant. So all the leaves that I remove from these plants, I put them here, and now if you see that they start to produce new pups. You can see this one is start to produce roots. So this one is producing baby, and here is another one like there. So this method you have to just put it in a peat moss or some compost or a media where it gets some, you can say, moisture. You can also leave them in a tray for, you can say, 15 days, and then they start to produce new leaves. Even though in the dry area, when you see the roots, then you put them in a peat moss like this. So this is the method you can propagate from a leaf. Some areas where moisture is too much, then they use this method. They put all the leaves in a tray, and when they start to root, then they put that above the peat moss like this. But our area is very dry, so that's why I directly put them above the soil medium. So here is another pot that I planted, I think something about a week ago, and it still does not look like any progress, but if you look closely, they start to producing new babies, smaller one. If you check it out, how beautiful they are looking. So this method is very good if you have a good area. For example, if you in your area heat starts after more than 6 months, and also it stays for very short period of time, then you can use this method to propagate succulent. Because in our area this is not a good method, because in our winter is very short and our summer is very hot and very long, so they are small plants and they died in summer. So if you have a long winter and not very frozy winter, and your summer is not very harsh, then you can use this method to propagate succulents. So here is the example. These are the babies that produce from a mama leaves plant. So they were in a different city, that's why they grow that big, and now they start to grow more. But in our climate they won't survive because they are very small. These are 1 year old babies. So always keep in mind, if you have hot weather, then always try this method of propagating succulent, because through this method your plant is strong enough to survive in a harsh winter. Also there is another method to propagate succulent from a seed, but they are not that easy. I never tried that before. Some people tried it and they succeed, they produce new hybrid, but it only possible in an area where again there is not that much excessive heat, because in our area those plants won't survive. Even though if we grow them from seed, they will die as soon as the summer hits, because our temperature is very hot. It goes above near about 50 Celsius in summer. That's why it was very dry and very hot. Also hot winds. Because of hot winds, even though if you put them in a shady place, because of hot winds they died within a week. So this is the method of propagation succulent. If you like the video, please hit like, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.